Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Mr. Budehas, your online math teacher. In today's video, you will learn how to solve permutation of n objects taken R at a time. Let's learn first the word permutation. A permutation of the set of objects is an ordered arrangement of the items. We can also arrange just part of the set of objects. In permutation, the order that we arrange the object is important. For example, the set of three-digit numbers that can be formed using the digits 4, 5, and 6 is a set of permutation. And the different arrangement of the numbers 4, 5, and 6 are the following: 4, 5, 6, 4, 6, 5, 5, 4, 6, 5, 6, 4, 6, 4, 5, and 6, 5, 4. This different arrangement is what we call the permutation. Another example of a permutation is the number of ways we can arrange the letters in the word math. And these are all the different arrangement. We have 24 all different arrangement, and that is the number of permutation. Now let's learn the permutation of n objects taken R at a time. It is an ordered arrangement of n objects taken R at a time where n is greater than or equal to R. For example, in how many ways can you arrange 12 different books on a shelf that can hold only 6 books? In this problem, you are to identify what is n and what is R. Take note that our n is the number of objects and R is the number of objects taken at a time. In the given problem, n, which is equal to 12, is the number of objects, while R, which is equal to 6, is the number of objects taken at a time. And take note here, n should be always greater than or equal to R. Now it's time to solve the number of permutations of n objects taken R at a time. There are two formulas in this permutation of n objects taken R at a time, and that is the general formula and the reduced formula. For the general formula, you can use this one if n is greater than or equal to R. But if n is equal to R, you can use this reduced formula. Take note, you can also use n is equal to R here. For example, we are to evaluate the permutation of 6 taken 3. N is 6 and R is 3 and N is greater than R. So we have to use this formula, the general formula, and now let's substitute the value of N and R, which is 6 and 3 respectively, and we get this. Then simplifying the denominator, 6 minus 3 is 3. Then copy the factorial, and we have a 6 factorial over 3 factorial. Now, since the denominator is less than the numerator, we are just going to copy the denominator, the 3 factorial here, then simplify the numerator. 6 factorial, basically that is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. But we have our denominator here, which is 3 factorial. We will end at 3 factorial also in our numerator so that we can cancel it out, because 3 factorial divided by 3 factorial is just 1. And take note, whatever the number you've multiplied to 1, the answer is always the number itself. So it will not affect the result here. So just multiply 6 times 5 times 4, which is equal to 120. And that is the answer for the permutation of 6 taken 3. Now let's try to solve these problems. Number 1. In how many ways can you arrange 8 students in a photograph? Before I continue, I want you to pause the video for a while and solve it in your own, then compare your answer later. In this problem, we need to determine the number of permutation of the students in a photograph. First step is identify N and R. There are 8 students, so n is 8. And all the students are to be arranged in a photograph at a time. So r is also 8. If n is equal to r, then we will be using the reduced formula. And that leads to our step number 2, in which we are going to substitute the value of n and r to our reduced formula. And that gives us 8 factorial. And 8 factorial is 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And by using calculator, we get 40,320. Therefore, the 8 students can be arranged in 40,320 ways. Number 2. A company has 12 members in its board of directors will elect a president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer among themselves. In how many ways can this be done? Again, I want you to pause the video for a while and solve it in your own, then compare your answer later. In this problem, we need to determine the number of permutation of the officers to be elected from the members of the board of directors. To solve this, we are to identify first n and r. There are 12 members in the board of directors, so n is equal to 12. And there are 4 positions to be filled: the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. So r is equal to 4. Now this time, n is greater than our r. Since n is greater than r, we are going to use the formula n factorial over n minus r factorial. Now we are to substitute the value of n and r, which is 12 and 4 respectively, and we get this: 12 factorial over 12 minus 4 factorial. So solving 12 minus 4, that is 8 factorial. And we have 12 factorial over 8 factorial. Now, since the denominator is less than our denominator, we will just copy the denominator, which is 8 factorial, then simplify the numerator. 12 factorial is basically, that is 12 times 11 times 10 times 9 times 8 up to times 1. But since our denominator is 8 factorial, we will just end at 8 factorial so that we can cancel it out. And again, this is just 1, so that we cannot have a long process. So we'll end at 8 factorial so that we can cancel it out. So we have now 12 times 11 times 10 times 9, and by using calculator, we have 11,880. Therefore, the positions can be filled in is 11,880 ways. So I'm done with my discussion for today. I hope that you learned something from this video. Now it's your turn to answer these 2 questions in individual practice. Please comment your answer below and let's see if you really learned from this topic. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching.